Alright, so first noticeable change we have in the new cards is the Dungeon Master card. After you cast your first spell of each turn, for 1 or more mana, summon a cursed Cadaver with health equal to mana spent. I can't really, inspect it like I can with these. But basically, I can see a lot of Vagrant decks playing into this. You just have to activate the Cadaver, obviously 0 attack and the health of whatever spell you play, but if you activate the Cadaver, it exhausts the Cadaver, but they get summoned with a neutral. Or not neutral, but with a pacifism, so you have to activate it to stop the pacifism. It's good still because you can activate it and then it can attack purely if you're playing Augur deck, however you want me to say it. Now, Corpse of Retrieval feels like it's just a DM version of that 4 mana card, the Potion of Weld. It's just a cheaper version of that because it gets you 1 and then it shuffles it from your graveyard into the deck. It's just a creature though, so it's like a really specific card, I should say. Nothing from these low manas, but there is Desecration. Desecration? Desecration, sorry, Desecration. Desecration is going to be a really good card for this because it banishes the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck. If you're playing a pure DM deck, it banishes top 5. Going to be a really card for those banished decks that, like, if your opponent's playing DM, you just play Desecration. If you play Desecration, it will banish everything from their graveyard, which will be really good, so they can't really defend. Ayash's Revenge, I guess. Sacrifice a friendly creature, then kill an enemy creature with the same health or less. This feels like a similar thing to the Gunhaunt's Call. The only reason this is different is, first of all, if you have Devotion, aka you have all the DM cards, draw a card. It's a good ability for Devotion, but also it's because it's the same health or less. So it's like, the reason why it's called Ash's Revenge is because Asha, but also it fits with that card specifically because it's the health and not the attack like Gunhaunt. Now, next page we do have here, we don't have anything on this. However, next one, we have a Molten Martyr. Molten Martyr is going to be really good for sacrifice decks. He has the backlash on him, so that makes him if he's killed, it kills the thing that kills him. If your opponent attacks with a 4/5, instead of it not dying and being a 4/1, it just dies completely. Also, if you give it a turn, you can activate it, and it gives both players 4 attack damage dealt. It's going to be really good for sacrifice decks because it says sacrifice. If you play into that, that'd be really good. Also, this guy's going to be good for cadavers. The cadavers for Aisha, because you have to banish a monster to unpacify it. Gonna be really hard to do that unless you have Eternal Aetheryte, but they did nerf him, so he's gonna work but not work. Worshipper of Verintho. Gonna be a really good card because it says the last word. If your deck contains no neutral cards, kill the enemy creature with the highest health. It does play in, once again, to how these cards work, like how the DM cards are. However, I personally think it's a good card because it's a 5 mana 4/4. The ability is really good, and you don't really see these 4/4s except here. This is a 4/3, but it's weaker. You don't really see those high mana 4/4s with good abilities. This one doesn't really have a good ability, but this one's one of the better ones. Also a new card, the Dread Weaver. This is going to be really good for elemental decks. He's an undead creature, however, non-elemental creatures cannot use their activate spells. It's a 6 mana 6/6. A lot of cards that have the same mana as their attack and health. But that one is going to be good for elemental decks because obviously non-elemental creatures can't activate abilities. It's going to stop all Garanons. That's going to stop literally any activate plundering ability. You just stop everything. You can stop drawing cards from just random draws like that. It's going to really hurt the hurt the rep for decks that need that. It's just the same version. However, we have Marrow Harvester. The Death Blow is draw a card. He's also a multi-blocker, so it works out. But Devotion, aka you have all the DM cards, I'm going to stop saying that. After blocking, regain a health. So you can block several times with this guy, and you'll get a lot of health. Probably really good if you're playing like an Aegir deck and you just need to heal those 5 times. Real good idea, but it is a weak card for 7 mana. I would say that if it was like maybe a 3/8, then that'd be pretty fair, but I mean, it's a 4/6, it's not terrible. We got 2 silly cards on this page. This one being one of my favorites on the look aesthetic and how it works. 8 mana spell. All creatures take damage equal to half their mana cost. So you have a 6 mana 7/3 on the field, it dies. If you have a 2 mana 1/1, like a specific 2 mana card, Arcane Experiment, then it dies. But if you have Devotion, half the highest mana cost instead. So your highest mana cost kills everything on the field. You're playing a Master Golem, it kills everything but the Master Golem. Pretty good, because it does 5 damage to every creature on the field. It's like having a final spell, except some things get to live. So it's like a weaker but cheaper final spell. Still think it's a pretty good card, though. You could probably get it cheaper, too, if you're playing an Aegir deck. Now, this one's going to be... Oh, sorry. This one I don't think is going to be played very much, but I feel like you can make some broken decks out of this. If you're playing, like, where is he? Alker. If you're playing Alker, you can definitely make some broken decks out of this. Wraith's Wrath. Mana cost is reduced by 1 for each innate creature in your graveyard. I mean, if you're playing a bone deck, obviously this is going to be good. However, let it be said, it is a 20 mana card. You need 10 people dead just for the ability to use it for 10 mana. And it's just deal 5 damage anyways. It's not even that good of a card. It's 5 damage. You can do that with a few masteries and a Call of the Old Gods. Except you can technically mastery this. Technically, but that doesn't make it a good card. It definitely has its moments. Also, if you're playing a bone deck, you want that freedom to take things out of your graveyard, put it back into your graveyard. This card just stops that. However, it is an epic card, so you can have it for any time. The only problem is if you draw it, there's no way of getting it out of your hand, so you're going to have to be playing like an Augur deck to get it out of your hand, and even then, it's not even that good in an Augur deck, so... You'd really have to just make a deck completely for it, and even then, it's not even that worth of a card. I don't want to trash talk this card too much, though. It definitely can see some play. Now, new Wild Horde cards. We have the Mana Harvester. He's going to be really, really good if we're trying to play those Draketh decks. A lot of buffs to Draketh decks because they were pretty weak before the update. Activate gain 1 mana this turn. This is going to play into the DM stop activations of non-elemental creatures, because you get to play that as an elemental creature. It's good. You can probably form some decks with that. Vexer. This is a legendary, so you only get 1 of them, but last word, place this into your reserves and it gains +1/+1. Now, you're just going to want to keep doing it. You're going to want to keep taking it out, putting it in, taking it out, putting it in. It's like having it's an amped card too, so that's good, but it's like having a Aetheryte, except it's a mobilized Aetheryte. We'll get to how you can take him out of your thing very soon, but also, like, you could just play, simply put, you can just play, where's my boy at? Oh god, wait, I don't want to spoil the cards there. Bighorn, I'm dumb. I thought it was a 6 mana, I'm dumb. Okay. Anyways, we have Mimicry. Draw a card if it was... Okay, sorry. We have Mimicry. Draw a card if it was a non-legendary innate creature. Add another copy to your hand. So, if it's a non-legendary, you can just copy 2 Bs. You can copy any card in your entire deck as long as it's not a legendary and it's a creature. So, let's say we want a bunch of Bighorns, a bunch of Gurms. Let's say we want any of it. We can just play that and it does it for us. Now, we're just going to the next page. The free draw card, and also it copies the card you draw if it's good for not legendary and it's a monster. Anyways, Wyvern Whisperer. Entrance, summon a Wormling. Devotion, amped Wormling instead. So, that's good, because they free one attack. If we're playing with Glorious Overseer here, I could definitely see some good play with that card. There's still better applications for that, applications as they say, but I mean, it's not terrible. Vengeful Empath. Enrage, gain +1/+0. I mean, I saw a guy playing with this one. It's pretty good if you pre-buff it. When in range, mobilize 1 or less. That's gonna be good for the boy. Where is my boy at? It's gonna be good for Vexer here, but we have other cards to deal with that. We can also copy Vexer probably, but we'll get to that at a different time. It's not terrible. Let's see. Oh, Ethereal Rift. This is going to be a huge card. Also, I saw it on this back page. Ethereal Rift, shuffle 2 surges into your deck and gain 2 mana. Devotion is shuffle 3 instead. You draw it. When drawn, gain 2 mana, draw a card. Really strong for those mana-intensive cards like Rage Beast, this new one. We got all the Lumbering Strikers, and in a deck that definitely needs the mana cost, we really like seeing that. It's a good plus for these cards. We're gonna hop into Worshipper of... Oh, by the way, they did this. They made it mobilize 2 or less. That's gonna be good for the 1 mana card, 1 mana legendary. Worshipper of Draketh. Now, the Draketh card, except it's not really a Draketh card. It is, it isn't, I don't know. Last word, if your deck contains no neutral cards, mobilize 5 or less. That's a really good card because they did buff Lavered Whelp. They made him 3 attack and 4 health. It also plays into the dragon card itself. It's pretty good. Still 2 damage for 1 damage of itself. Pretty good card because you can do it 3 times now. It's going to be broken in the future. But back to Worshipper of Draketh. 5 mana, 4/4. He's good with normal stats and his ability's fine, I guess. If it was a 6 or less, I could see him being played into better slime decks, but also, like, you can mix it with Sporecaster, get some Gurman there. Obviously, you're going to be, if you're playing a slime deck, you're going to be throwing in Zealous Ooze. Why don't I? Oh, Zealous Ooze. You're going to be playing Zealous Ooze with this guy, because it's obviously a slime card for that. However, gotta move on. We got Sludge Defender. It is a 6 mana 3/5, really bad stats, except it's a taunt card, and last word is summon a slime. Now, I don't know if that's going to be that good. It's an ooze creature, so it does double buff with the boy, with Zyron. Doesn't make it good, though. I don't know. It's just a double buff, and it's a taunt card, so it's like having a worse version of the orange slime. It's not terrible, but also, like, 6 mana 3/5 is really, really sucky of a thing. There's probably some catch to that card I'm not seeing. I don't know why it's a rare as well. There's some catch I'm not seeing. Okay, Nocturnal Nemesis. This one is entrance, mark an enemy. Only 1, though, which sucks for this ability, but its last word, kill all marked enemy creatures. So, first of all, if it dies, it kills the thing that it is hit with. Or I should say, yeah, it kills the thing that kills it, and then also whatever it marked. So let's say you mark literally any card, you get this card killed, both the card that kills it and the card you mark has died. Pretty good for wiping smaller portions of stronger monsters. So if you're playing a Wild Horde deck, it would be pretty good. They did also nerf Overwhelming Maggie, but you're probably here to see Rage Beast. If this kills, or by the way, it's a 10 mana 4/10, going to be good for Augur decks, but also it's a really high mana. So if this kills a creature while blocking, it can attack. It can block again. I can't speak. Prepare. All other creatures take 1 damage. Devotion enemy creatures instead. So it's like a every single turn version of Vanguard, which is pretty funny. It's at the beginning of your turn, it's like a Vanguard, except also if this blocks, it gets to block again. So it's like it's gonna be a tank for blocking, But also, like, Lumbering Striker was kind of that anyways. I guess you can combo them if you have enough mana for it. And of course, for the new 4-mana Ethereal Rift, it's going to be very good. Maybe you can even, if you really need to, you could even play both of them in the same turn. Let's say you copied that card, you copied the Ethereal Rift, and then you keep playing, and you could probably draw like 5 in one turn, get to 20 mana. Pretty broken if you know how to use it correctly. Obviously, it's an epic, so you can put more than just the one. Now on to the Plundering Guilds. There is going to be a lot of new cards here, but there's also 10 in each faction, so I can say that about every card. Wait, do I have... Did I not have it on blocked? Am I missing some cards that I'm not reading? I feel like I have everything, but I also feel like I might have skipped something. Oh no, it's supposed to be on this. I just have all the green ones. Okay. Mercenary Mayhem. 0 mana. They changed all the no manas to 0 mana, but deal 1 damage to an enemy creature. Repeat once if you control a mercenary. So it's gonna be good for mercenary decks, I guess. I mean, you're not really gonna be using plundering for side mercenary decks, but it's like a Dead or Alive before it was nerfed. By the way, they nerfed Dead or Alive for all those who are sad about that. It sucks, but also Dead or Alive is a really strong card still, so it kind of deserves it. Also, they kind of buffed it because it's a 1 less coin. Infernix Entrance, deal 1 damage to an enemy creature. Devotion, if it dies, also deal 1 direct damage. So, I mean, obviously for a 1 mana, you can't really expect very much, but with so many high contenders for those 1 mana positions, you're obviously not going to be using this guy. He is an elemental, though, so might be good for elemental decks, obviously. I don't see it, though. There's like another one of these guys for every single deck. Now, we're going to hop into Ambitious Eulogist. Entrance, suppress an enemy creature that has the last word ability. Devotion, 2 enemy creatures instead. You're not going to be knowing if you're playing against last word creatures until it's too late. I guess it's a good 2 mana because it's a 2/2, and it's got a okay ability. Like, it's a very circumstantial ability. I don't see it getting much play, but it might also just be a good card to add in there. But also, like, with so many good 2 mana contenders for these cards, I would have expected better. Not terrible, but also, like, we have Tormiel. That's just a perfect card for plundering. It's a good rush card, good coin card, good for sitting on both sides. We obviously have like adding on, but those aren't the new cards. We're here for the new cards. Avian Murder, this guy is really hype, especially if you're playing him with like Dagger Supplier. Devotion, aka you need plundering, completely plundering. When this deals direct damage, draw another Avian Murder from your deck. So you're going to want to play this guy with 3 of them in your deck, which already takes up 3 of the 40. You're probably going to add some Tormiel. You'll get to the 40 cards really quick if you're playing Avian Murder deck. However, his ability, I'm not saying he's a bad card. He's a 2/3. He's like a better version of a eyeball, like the green card, the 2/1. Except, like, he'll be done with his ability after... after 2, so unless you're playing that deck specifically to get your Potion of the Weld in there, you're not going to get much out of Avian Murder. Not a terrible card. I actually like the design. I like the card itself. He's a new shaped card too. Like, he doesn't have the same face that all these guys have, like the stupid plundering cards. But there's definitely better cards in the Plundering Guild that came out, like this one. I wouldn't say Bombarder's particularly amazing. He's a 3/6/4 mana, which is pretty good stats. If you're playing an Anchor deck, you can obviously put him in there. But Death Blow is randomly place a power keg into your opponent's deck, power keg being a damage 3 damage. But if you enhance, gain multi-blocker for 2 coins. Now, there's definitely implications of Bombarder. We have Bombarder, already said 4 mana, 3/6, all the abilities. I think this is going to be good with some of these Bane decks. However, it's in play, it's really hard. Really, really hard to do. Because, like, it's a 3/6, you're not going to be killing much unless you're playing it just for early game. Even then, this card's like, okay. Obviously, they're probably going to be playing some of the stronger cards. If they're playing a Bane deck, they're obviously going to be playing Cunning Stairmaster, which got a huge buff. They might be playing Pillaging Prince, which obviously blocks that off. There's definitely different cards you can do here that'll early game stop this from happening, but also the Keg is a pretty good card that might like get them whenever they're not looking, like that 20 mana card we looked at earlier. Nothing in that 4 mana section, but in the 5 mana section we have Fall of Pieta Oris, which is a card we saw in the sneak peeks. Shift the bottom X Banes from your opponent's deck to the top, where X is the number of coins you have. You're playing a coin deck. Of course, you're going to have a large amount of coins if you're not always spending. So, it's going to be good to put all those Banes to the top of his deck, which could also be a Keg, by the way, because Keg is a Bane. Will be really, really huge for Bane decks, because also you're drawing a card for yourself, and your opponent's drawing, which is going to make it so he's drawing those Banes that you have in his deck. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good card, but also, like, you draw him mid to early game, you're never going to get that card back. So you might want one of these guys, maybe two of these guys, if you're able to play him right. Maybe you can start making these Assassin Strike decks inside of Aegir decks. I don't know. It's a really good card if you have the setup for it. Now, we are here at the Worshipper of Kraydon, probably one of the worst cards we got out of this. Last word. Oh, by the way, 5 mana, 4/4, okay stats, but last word, if your deck contains no neutral cards, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. It's like the cock blocker of, or I should say, the blocker of Copy Mage meta, but also there's different cards that can do the exact same thing for cheaper. Namely, actually not cheaper, but namely, where my boy at? Resource Equalization. Same concept except you draw a card. But also, like, this one's buff is that it is a monster for 5 mana, so I guess I can see it being like a plundering version of Resource Equalization. Now we have Sultan Swordsman, epic card, so I don't know how epic it is, but it says, entrance, select an enemy creature. If it's not exhausted, exhaust it. This will stop a lot of big cards. However, not a lot of people are going to be playing big cards after all these weak, super big, good abilities. You know what I mean? However, Devotion, it is stunned as long as this creature's alive. I don't know what stun means, but stun says a combatant with stun cannot become unexhausted. That is a really good ability. I think he's only going to be good for Devotion, so he's not bad for his normal ability. 7/5 also really good stats for a 6 mana. However, I mean, I don't know what deck he would be used for. He's just a good card in general for plundering. Now, we got 2 new cards, probably 2 of the most stressful cards in this game currently. Guildsmith, 7/7/7. It's a taunt card, which doesn't really play into its ability. Actually, it hurts you. But turn timers are now 20 seconds. 20 seconds sounds like a lot. It is not a lot. If I play with that card, which I do have a deck that is playing with that card, that speeds it up by like a third. It's really quick in game. You're like barely getting thoughts through your head. It's obviously what the card's meant for, because people have also been complaining about the timer of Hourglass stuff, and I feel as though that this card will be playing into that want by being like, hey, you wanted faster Hourglass times, well, here you go. Also, people have been complaining about getting rushed, but yeah, they don't have to play Guildsmith, come on. Forbidden Lotus. It is an auto banish, unfortunately, like a plundering card that we know so dearly, the 5-mana plundering card, Spellbook Forgery. It's also a banish card. However, this one, Forbidden Lotus, shift the top third of your opponent's deck to their graveyard. Now, if they're playing a 40 card deck, obviously, let's say they drew 10 cards at round 8 by any way, I don't know, but a third of their deck is 10 cards. You are taking away 10 of their playable cards and putting it into their graveyard. Really good against anything else that isn't a DM deck. However, if you enhance it for 4 coins, it's half the deck. I feel like Forbidden Lotus has really, really good potential. Especially if like half of 30 is 15. Having 15 cards means you have 15 rounds to live. But first of all, we'll just put this into perspective. 4 coins, there is no card currently in this game besides Paladin of Orlus, which definitely deserves the 4-coin title. That is a 4-coin upgrade. There's no other card that I can think of, at least, that has a 4-coin upgrade. That is insanity. Like, this one is an amazing card. No coin upgrade. Highest we're getting to is 3. And this card is a 4-coin. Insane. For half, that's a little bit extra. That's 5 extra. If you're playing with 30 cards, it's even less if you're actually playing against, like, let's say it's around 20. You're going to have 20 cards. Third of that, let's say it's around 7. Half of that, say it's around 10. That's like 3 card difference. That's nothing, okay? Forbidden Lotus, it's going to have its stacks, definitely. But also, like, there is going to be definitely counterplay on the Forbidden Lotus. Now, going to Aegir, new cards we have Systematic Subjugation. We have deal 2 damage split randomly between enemy creatures, not 2, but Devotion. If any die, repeat once. You can repeat it only once if one dies. Only once, which makes it a actually fine 1-mana card. It's like having a split bullet where you can kill many things. But for an Augur deck, you're not really going to be using that as often. And also, it's an uncommon card, and I only have one of it. Okay. That's good. Okay. This card, I think, is going to have huge meta capabilities, especially for if we're playing Acumen decks. We have a Covert Contractor, 1 attack, 3 health. Really good. Obviously an auto defensive Acumen proc. However, he is amped and has Loophole. When you draw this card, gain +1 until the end of the turn. That's going to be good for literally any other deck. If you're playing a Gyaranon, free extra draw. If you're playing it with backup Aegir, that's 2 draws in the same turn, 3 draws with your normal draw, and you could probably put some other draw things. Like if you're playing, let's just say as a example, if we're playing the Restorative Alchemy, if you draw that, or you draw any coins, if you draw anything, it will add on to his health or his attack, because also his Devotion is +1 health instead. Huge for Acumen decks, and for backups of other decks that have that attack capability. It's going to be a really good card. I feel like we're going to see a meta with Covert. However, I could definitely be wrong. It's too early to tell. Day 2. Now, we don't have anything in this 2 mana. We already have our 2 mana, except we have a Reiteration. Oh, shoot. Did I say Reiteration? I feel like we have another card that's already named that. Retaliation. Sorry. It is a contract spell, so it's going to be put to the side. This is also a contract spell. We'll get to that. Condition: your opponent casts a non-legendary, non-contract spell. Just any spell, any normal spell that isn't legendary or isn't a contract spell. Banish all copies of that spell from all zones. It's really chaotic of a card, and that's what makes some cards in this game not good. Like, there are definitely good cards, and I feel like this is going to be one of them, but like Lotus, it sounds good at first sight, and even this one might not sound good at first sight, but you might think has capabilities. I feel like we're not really going to see a lot of retaliation play, but on a different hand with a different contract that does like the same effect, as you can see. Unlawful Trespass. Same 2 mana spell, same contract. However, the condition is 1 more enemy creature one or more enemy creatures dealt direct damage to this attack. Randomly kill one of them in the contract. Now, that's good. You can kill randomly one of the creatures that attack you. Let's just say it's a weak 1/4 monster, maybe like the current best card, or not current best card, but one of the best cards, Cunning Stairmaster. You can kill that. It would be really big, especially if you're playing Avians. If you're playing literally anything that has low attack and is a really good ability, you can just kill it off rip. Really, really good, but also, like I said, circumstantial. Like, not a lot of people are going to be playing those high mana cards, but they will be playing high spell-induced cards. We have Duplicity Specialist. Devotion. It has +2 until I can't speak. It has +2 attack during your opponent's turn. I feel like that's going to be good for a good bit of decks. Also, it's Restless at a 3 mana 1/5. Really good for Acumen deck. Except if you're playing Devotion, it's going to be kind of a bad card, I would feel. I think you want that for its not Devotion ability. You're going to want to play that in like a mixed deck. But it's a mercenary card, and also its ability is good for other decks. So I feel as the, or not other decks, but like other versions of decks, like maybe a beatdown deck for Acre. But I don't really see that happening with these cards. It's like a rush version of an Aegir card, except it's not amped, so it really isn't. I don't know, man. Now we have Mystic Envisioner. We have a 0/4 3 mana. When a creature uses an activated ability, this gains 1 attack, and it's Devotion, I think that said. Yeah, discarded is gain +1. So it gains +1 whenever you discard it. Not going to be a very good card, I would say, because activate abilities are really hard to come by, but obviously if you're playing against, like, Garnon or the Plundering Prince or whatever you want to do, or Plundering Man, I don't know. Any activate ability is really hard to come by, especially with these cards that I haven't seen a single activate ability on. Besides that 1 mana Mobilize, or the 1 mana card from Wild Horde, but that's not really like gonna be something we have to worry about. Mystic Envisioner's not that bad because obviously it's a 0/4 and an Aegir card. It's always gonna have play, but no one's gonna discard it. It's like got an ability that doesn't let you want to discard it. It's almost like a downside to having a 0/4. I don't know, man, but also you can probably get that to like insane levels, and that might be good to see. New 4 mana. We don't really have that many 4 mana creatures in this deck besides Field of Bureaucrat and Mercenary Leader, but now we have Wounded Guard. After taking direct damage, fully heal a random damaged friendly creature. That's basically like having the Arbiter of Garsong. It's basically like discarding him, except it's whenever you take damage, so it just fully heals someone that's already damaged, and whenever discarded, give a random friendly creature +1. So it's like having a combination of Arbiter of Garsong and Shielded Enchantment. That's not bad. It's a loophole. It's a 1/6, so it's going to be good for Acumen decks. And I feel like that might actually be a really good card, because it's a fully heal of a random damage-friendly creature. I think it's going to have some play. I feel as though it's going to be good. But we do have Worshipper of Talum. This is going to be our stopping of neutral cards. If your deck contains no neutral cards, give all friendly creatures +1. I actually played with this card. It is insane. It might not look really good, but it is an insane card. If you have, let's say, Mercenary Leader and, I don't know, 8 sellswords, you can +1 every single sellsword permanently, by the way. And he has Taunt, he's a 5/4/4, so he doesn't have bad stats, and his ability is pretty good. I think we're going to see him in some Aegir deck plays. These are really good Acumen buffs. We like to see that. Perpetual Watchman. I saw this card, and it made me go insane. First of all, 6 mana, multi-blocker, 1/8. That is insane. That is a 7. That's like having a Slick Gifter. I was playing Slick Gifter in Acumen decks just because of its difference in health. That is insane. Both of these are uncommon cards, by the way. Just notice that is a these are both common cards, and that's an uncommon card. Just by the way, after blocking, heal damage friendly creatures with loophole by 1. So if you're playing with, let's say, Wounded Guardman, it fully heals him. This guy doesn't have loophole. We can give him loophole, and he'll do it to himself, I assume. And discarded, give a random friendly loophole creature +1. So it either heals everything or it heals just 1. I feel like it's a good card, and we're going to see it in some play. Now we have Tomaralian Turncoat. I don't know. These are some weird names. But obviously we have like Hero of Song. I don't know. Anyways, 8 mana, 5/5. Pretty garbage stats. No extra abilities, but like we have that guy where it's a okay stats and good ability. Let's see. Entrance, all other summon creatures have -2 attack. Really good for Augur decks because like he's a good card and he doesn't have like taunt on him, so he might be good. Discarded, give a random friendly creature -2 attack. However, that devotion ability is garbage. -2 health? No one wants that. The only reason you'd be playing this card is if you're not playing a main Devotion Aegir deck. There's no reason to be playing a Devotion Aegir deck. I think these are just trying to discourage from that because it pulls out of the meta of these cards. Now, we have the neutral cards. 10 neutral cards is insane. We have Penitent Follower, he's obviously got that backlash ability. He is a 1/2 common card. Not terrible. He's also a Crusader creature, so you can buff him in your deck with that new card we'll talk about later. But also backlash. Pretty good add-on to a 1/2. I mean, he would just blend in with the rest of these guys. He'd just be a dedicated butler with the Crusader thing on him. But he has backlash on him. That gives him like an extra tang. So he's going to be good. We have... we have Sunburnt Monk. While attacking, has +2 attack. That's going to be pretty good for... It's like an eager farmer, except with an extra health. Also, it's Crusader, so you can buff it in your deck. I mean, it's not a eager farmer if you look at it in the defending standpoint. Eager farmer would still be better, but also it's a Crusader card. You can always add attack, add defense. Now, they did change Missionary Vanguard into a Crusader creature, which I don't know how that's going to play, but I feel as though it's going to play pretty good. We have Righteous Banner. Entrance is gain +1/+1 for each friendly Crusader. That's going to be huge if you're placing a ton of friendly Crusaders, like if you're placing 3 Penitent Followers, some Sunbird Monks, +1s for every single one of them just for the turn. It's a common card, and that's understandable. Now we have Shifty Inquisitor. I don't know why I'm saying words weird right now. 3 mana, 2/4. Not bad stats. Might be used for Aegir decks. Entrance, destroy a random enemy ritual or enchants. Enchantment. Sorry, I don't even know what this card means. I don't even think I want to find out what that means. Destroy a random enemy ritual or enchantment. Yeah, no idea. That probably has something that I'm not seeing. I don't even know what a ritual or an enchantment would be. Yeah, I just have actually no clue. Anyways, Sunfire Evoker. We have Crusader creature, 4 mana, 3/4. Not bad stats. Entrance, if you control more than 4 friendly Crusaders, deal X direct damage to your opponent, where X is the creature's attack. It's just going to be a 3 attack unless you're buffing the Crusader card. It's going to be pretty good for if we're doing it with the later card. But in its base form, it's a pretty ass card. But, obviously there's going to be Crusader Rush decks now. Enrage Crusader, deal 1 direct damage. So if your Crusader dies, it's going to deal direct damage. It's like playing DM all over again because you're trying to get all those Crusader cards out. We have Blessed Guardsman, which this is another one of the revealed cards. They didn't reveal the image, but also they revealed the ability. They didn't really reveal the Crusader thing, but when an opponent gains life from a source other than a Blessed Guardsman, you gain life instead. So you can be gaining life if he doesn't have a Blessed Guardsman, except whenever he gains life, you gain his life. And if you both have Blessed Guardsmen, you're gaining life for each other. So all life cards become pointless. If you throw one of these guys into, like, one of those draw decks, I feel as though he's going to be phenomenal. Because you're just going to be healing with him. You're going to be healing. You could probably throw him in with, like, a Merchant's Guard, and he's going to be insane. I feel as though it's going to be a really strong card that we're going to see a lot of play with. Also, he's a Crusader card. Obviously, we're going to see play with him. Orderless Mirror Knight. This is a 1/1 6 mana. Horrible stats, but the ability is probably going to even out. If you have a Aftermath, if you have a Crusader in your hand, summon a token copy of this card without the ability. Now, it's an epic card, so you can have 3 of them. I only have 2. You're going to be using him as a proc onto the field of, like, multiple cards, but also a 6 mana 1/1. He's going to have to get buffed by that one card that we're going to get to. And even then, like, every single other card is getting buffed. Why would you play this card? It's like playing a plundering guild card, except with, like, less buffing stats, because they start off as 2/3s. I mean, I guess it's like having plundering guild without having plundering guilds. I don't know, man. Aftermath. Or sorry, no, I'm reading the same card. Sunlight Elemental. Elemental creature with 7/7/7. Okay stats, perfectly even, but other friendly neutral creatures get +2 attack. That is going to be a huge card for Orless, I guess. It's going to be garbage if you're trying to mix a Acumen deck with, like, any of these Crusader cards. However, it's going to be pretty alright for, does it say, like, entrance? Oh, no, it's friendly neutral creatures. So, like, it has to be on your field. I guess. I don't know, man. I don't see how that's going to play. Here we go. Councilman Lazar. Legendary. However, the entrance ability is give your Crusaders not in play +2/+2. It's an 8 mana card, so it's on the same level as Untaming Destroyer, and we can compare these. Give your Crusaders not in play +2/+2, so you can obviously get some. It's a 9/7, really good, actually, stats. In comparison to this has more attack with the same health. And its ability is redonkulous. You can add that to any single card, or every single card that isn't in play. However, if we're just going to look at the other 8 mana card here, Restless and Amped was insane. This was a really good card. Also, it's an elemental. That's an elemental too. They're getting buffed by this elemental card because they're also neutrals. And that elemental card from earlier. We're getting a really good elemental buff here. However, Councilman Lazar for the same mana as an Untaming Destroyer is a little crazy. Obviously, you're going to be taking Councilman. You're going to be copying him with Plundering. You're supposed to be mixing these neutral cards with Plundering, I assume. However, there is this one DM card, the Corpse Retrieval. Choose an innate creature from your graveyard, then shuffle it into your deck. Sounds harmless, but if you're mixing it with this, you can immediately get your 8 mana back. It's going to be good for late game. I feel like these Crusader decks are going to be good for early game, more likely. And then late game, you're going to be throwing out your buffed Crusaders and trying to reshuffle them into the deck with the Potion of Welds. However, having this card buff every single Crusader that's currently still in your deck is going to be huge if you're playing, like, Potion of the Welds and they're not banishing stuff from your graveyard. It's going to be really good. So that's why I also think that a similar meta of last time is going to be playing Local Gravekeeper. He's not bad, and also, like, obviously our friendly Mulligan bot is playing the same card because he knows of how dumb and stupid it is and how strong of a card it is. But that is all of the new cards and Tankards cards. We can also look at the new props. Sorry, I need to click props. We can look at some of the new, they removed swords, by the way, but we can look at some of the new, can we not look at it from here? Alright, we can just look at the different things for our levels. Well, we also include that. If I could tap. Tap, 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 tap. Okay. We're going to be getting a lot of these Crusade of Sun and Stone cards, which is something we need if we're getting some of the new cards. They just have all of the new cards inside of them. Really nice addition. I love that pack, but we also have a D4 dice. Really good. We have the Paladin Sword. They removed all the swords from the game, just by the way, but they have these new swords that you can purchase. Gems and a random rare. We have the new shirt, new level 20 shirt. It's got the sun in the middle. It's not a bad thing. Also the nice backside. The glove, very, very similar to last season's glove. Now, if you look at this, perfectly symmetric in like the fingers and like the glove itself, but also there's a line across and the bottom of it is metal. There is better gloves of this. There is also like 4 gloves. So looking at this hat, it's a hood, except it has the what looks like a baseball cap or like rim, and it's got like a tiara-ish. It's a pretty mid hat. It's probably going to be one of the bad hats of this season. Gems with a random animated rare. More Crusader packs. We're getting them all throughout here with the golds. However, this is actually a nice shirt. It's got a nice cape to it. It's got a belt, sun belt, I should say. Got nice chest plates. Okay, of a shirt, but there's still a better one in the future. This is a lady glove, and it's got a like a wrist bracelet of a sun. Might be nice to see that come into wearing. Now we have like a Pope hood, if that makes sense. It's got the sun. Obviously, it's supposed to be for the Crusaders of the Sun. The Crusaders of Sun and Stone. Yeah, no, there's definitely reasons of that, but also like it looks kind of dumb. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that armor piece. Insane. Nice sun with a huge bottom star down the middle. Got shoulder pieces with suns on them, and we got high shoulder blade things. Now this glove is also good. Got a lot of metal. It's gonna look like you're actually a Crusader. We got a nice metal finish here on all sides of the glove. The knuckles are leather, probably nice and comfy to wear. We also have a sun tiara. I hate this little thing. They could have put like a gemstone there, like a nice orange, maybe ruby gemstone, but they decided to put the stupid leather, stupid wood. Just more gems. We have the new flying pet. This is that plundering 3-mana bird, which, like I said, looks really, really good. Not as a good card, but also looks really nice as a card itself. Like the aesthetic of the card, really nice. Gonna be nice to see that as a flying pet next to a lot of people. Also, the table pet is really, really nice. It's the Sun and Stone Boy, our new elemental friend, 7/7/7, adding +2 to all our neutral cards. Another Crusader booster pack. Got the new deck box. Looks really nice. It's going to be in addition to like the 5 deck boxes in this game. And the card back looks like a good copy of the gold card back we got for this season. Except it's got a stun in the middle, obviously. It's gonna suck for gold players because it's a similar back as what we had before. However, that's basically it of the new season. Besides the updates, you could probably check on the Discord. I would open a pack right now, however, I do not have that. It's a really, really nice season. The mods put a lot of time into this. Also, these are going to be the new card backs for next season. It's going to be really nice to see that as well. Look at that master card back. Well, that's about it. We can also take a peek at some of the new armor they released. Pretty sure it's down here. Yeah, these are just copies of the one that's inside of the Battle Pass currently. More copies. Also the stuff lower here is copy of like some of the earlier stuff. There's also going to be copies of the gloves, different armor things, different colors of that leather. They might actually have different color of that new tiara that they added. Yeah, here we go. That's why they made it brown, is because these ones are better. And it's probably going to look really good on my character. Oh my god, look at that floating crown, that angelic crown. It's garbage. I think I had a hood on. Yeah, it's probably that one. Okay. No new facial. Maybe new hair? I don't think it's new hair. Pets. We do have new pets. We have this sucker. We have a bunch of avian birds, but we have that guy, which is the other 6 mana, I think, plundering card. No, it's 7, isn't it? No, it's a DM card. It's 6 mana. Yeah, there we go. Dreadweaver. It's just a different colored Dreadweaver. Like the red one's the normal one, but there's also like green and blue and stuff. But those are the only 2 different pets we have out of this. Oh wait, no, there's more. There's these guys. These little slimesicle monsters. Little slime boys. That's actually just it. That's all the flying pets. Alright. See ya.